So this talk relates to this state-sponsored phishing attack that happened in February, but continues to put many, actually thousands of Venezuelan dissidents at risk. So what happened is that a website for registering volunteers for a political cause, pushed by Juan Guaido, which some countries recognize as interim president, which is a debated term, but is also recognized as such by most of Venezuelans organized civil society, set up this website to collect information for volunteers who could handle the management of humanitarian aid who's requesting to enter the country. The Venezuelan government set up and exactly the same website, copied every content, every single image, CSS file, to set up a website that's exactly the same as the genuine one. It's so exactly the same that the only difference we could find on the HTML code were these kinds of comments automatically added by software used to copy everything from the website automatically. So it's done in a faster and easy way. There's some differences. The servers were different, but the content was exactly the same. How does this happen? The thing is, most phishing attacks work the following way. You get an email or some kind of communication with a link to a purported official website, but in fact it's a malicious website. The URL is changed, it's different. So instead of your bank, it might be misspelled. And you have to click on the wrong link to get to the wrong website. That's how traditional phishing attacks happen. In this particular case, what they did is to change completely how the communication between your computer and the server occurs, so that you will get to a different server, even if you click to the genuine website. So super quick, we're going to overview some very quick facts about how the internet works. So even though we might think of websites as names like Facebook.com, actually for computers, they all know each other through IP addresses, which look somewhat like this. And the way you surf the web is that first your computer asks for the IP address for whatever website you want to go. So if it's Facebook.com, you ask for what's the IP address of Facebook.com. And a server, usually at the ISP, tells you, this is the IP address. And now you actually know how to get to the website you want. Eventually, it reaches your server, and you get a reply. That's basically how it normally happens, and it's usually how things go every single time. Sometimes your ISP might give you the wrong information, so you would go to a different server. And this is not an unusual attack, because it requires that the ISP or whomever provides you with internet access or the DNS server that you're using modify the responses so that you don't actually go to the actual website. This is also one of the most common internet blocking techniques. Instead of giving you the IP address of the website you want, they give you something completely different, so you can't go to the actual website that you want. In this case, it's even more sophisticated than this. Even if you ask a different server, such as Quad8, which is well-known public DNS by Google, a lot of people use it to get faster performance or to avoid censorship. Even if you ask for them, there's a middle box in the ISP, at the state-owned ISP, CanTV and MobileNet. This middle box would be checking for all of contents, so that instead of this, what you would have is this. Every single package that went out of the ISP would be checked to see if it's a DNS request, basically, what's the IP address for this domain. And if it is, they'll inject a reply that is wrong. They will lie to you saying, yes, I'm Google's public DNS, go to this IP, for the server you requested. Basically, this is very sophisticated, this is unexpected completely, and requires very sophisticated equipment. That way, every single person who wanted to visit this website in the state-owned ISP got to the phishing website. Every single one, even if you click the correct link and not the fake URLs, even if you did everything right, even if you set up HTTPS and everything was fine, you would get to the wrong website. If you had HTTPS, which is the recommendation that everyone gives you, you would get this. You would get a warning that just your computer is going to a server that can't be identified. And this is very scary, and most people will just nope the hell out of it and not go to that website. Unfortunately, in Venezuela, most public services show you this too, because they have misconfigured server configurations or are unwilling to pay for SSL certificates, or just don't know how to configure some free ones. This means that Venezuelans are just trained already to ignore completely these kinds of messages and just jump ahead to whatever they want. And this happens for banks, happens for universities, happens for many kinds of public services, and even for paying your taxes. So Venezuelans are more than accustomed to seeing this and just ignoring it. And when you ignore it, you actually access the website. And this was rare to see people complain about this, because most people just heard on TV, or actually on online streaming, Juan Guaidó, which is political leader they were following, go to this website. He didn't say https:// because nobody says anything like that. He just said go to voluntarios ex Venezuela, which is basically roughly translated as volunteers for Venezuela. He just read it out loud like anyone would. People just typed, so nobody typed HTTPS because nobody was told to. So most people just got to the wrong website, which, as we established, is exactly the same as the original one. But wait, it gets worse. In our research, we found out that the same IP address for this website, which was hosted in the US by DigitalOcean, in the past was also used for many other IP addresses. The same IP addresses was linked to many other domains used for phishing. Screenshot from checkfish.ai, and it has, for example, evidence that it once was the same IP address linked to accounts.gmail.web.ve. VE is the CCTLD, the Venezuelan top level domain, like TN for Tunis, or the US for the United States. And this is a screenshot taken at that time. As you can see, it's the exact same login screen from Google. This same server has been used for years to phish information from Venezuelans with many domains like this. This is just a list of many domains that were used by the same server in the past. You have Facebook, Gmail, Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, and many other domains have been used with this same server to phish Venezuelans' information. There's no evidence something as sophisticated as the DNS response injection was ever used for any other domain. But traditional phishing doesn't require this, and it's still very effective. What was extremely worrying is that the DNS response injection actually happened, because it translated from a traditional phishing campaign to a nationwide affectation. We were able to attribute this attack. Checking the DNS records for the different VE domains, there is some information leaked and some information of a Gmail account and phone number. We found out this phone number is the phone number of someone working at the telecommunications regulator, actually at the .ve administrator. And this Gmail account, we were able to determine that this Gmail account was registered using that phone number, because it's the only one we would accept for a password reconfiguration. And it was on all of these domains that I showed you before, including the new ones. And this is public information that was found on the internet linking that phone number to this office. We actually called that phone number, and I would actually talk to Gabriel Porco, which doesn't necessarily mean that he's the one who set up these domains, or he's the one answering this phone at this moment, at that moment, in this public office in Caracas, which is, as I said, is a telecommunications regulator who was setting up these fake domains for phishing. So attribution is pretty clear in at least two government offices, CAMTV, the state-owned ISP, who set up the DNS response injection in their own equipment, and Conatel, the telecommunications regulator. But it doesn't end like that. There's continued victimization of those affected by this phishing attack. So we had multiple events for this. February 12th, February 14th, shortly as soon as we discovered what was happening, we tweeted about it and we shut it down. But on February 21, there's a lot of attention on the same subject, and it was turned on again for almost a day, both times, on February 12th and 21. But all of this was fuel for fake news. There is this, it was used as an excuse to damage the reputation of activists and researchers, including those who worked on this report. Luis Carlos Diaz was mentioned by pro-government media as being hacked, as selling a hacked database of the Venezuelans activists who registered in this website for $10,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. This didn't go very far, but he was then accused of something else on that one, landing him in a criminal proceedings that in violation of his many rights. This was fuel for fake news in order to, one, cover up the research that we did so that nobody tried to cover that this was actually done by the government. Second, trying to affect and destroy the reputation of activists and researchers. Not only that, we estimate that tens of thousands of people registered on the wrong website because, as I said, the whole ISP was funneling all traffic to this wrong website. Even if you write the correct URL, at least 5,000 of those records are published, continuously being published online on a pro-government news website. Obviously, the details are in low resolution so that you can see them, and the title is blurred, so it's hard to find online. But this is currently being published, it's still up online. We're trying to shut it down. We haven't been able to. And that information is public in a country where we have recent history of lists of opposition members in the thousands being used for political retribution, denying passports, denying access to public services, denying government jobs and contracts. We still don't know what's going to happen with this information. We're waiting for cases or we're monitoring for possible cases of people losing their jobs or getting other kinds of problems because of they're on this list. But this list is public, and the way it's being published by the pro-government media is not only with lies that is hacked or sold, but in a way of trying to incite fear in the Venezuelan citizens that oppose the government, so that basically we know who you are, don't even try anything, we already have everything that we want. This list can be used for many nefarious uses, and is still up and is still affecting people's privacy. This whole case is a violation of people's privacy, but also a violation of people's rights to association online. Thank you. If you have any questions, I don't have much time, but I'll take questions.